all the parts of your healthcare, insurance, doctors, pharmacies, came together and worked as one team. That would be a better idea. Kaiser Permanente, a better idea for healthcare.
Mark Brown, Eyewitness News, weeknights.
This is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
Breaking now on Eyewitness News at 10, a dispersal order issued in downtown Los Angeles where dozens of people remained after a massive No Kings protest. Police creating skirmish lines as they push the crowds out of the area. Hello, thanks for joining us. You're watching Eyewitness News at 10 live on ABC 7 Hulu and wherever you stream. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Jory Rand. Let's take a live look right now from Air 7 over downtown Los Angeles. Police still remain out on the streets, as do some demonstrators. This is all left over from a No Kings demonstration that took place in downtown Los Angeles this afternoon. That ended around 5 p.m. Dispersal orders were given in the 7 o'clock hour with the hopes that people will be off the streets by 8. That clearly has not happened, but this crowd is not very large. Just about a handful, 20 to 30 people remain on scene tonight. They were pushed back from the federal building north along Alameda Street towards Union Station. And that's where police moved in on horseback and on foot in riot gear, trying to get people to break up this crowd. It has largely worked. But as we see, police still remain on scene and some demonstrators are remaining on the sidewalks here. But largely it was a peaceful evening, which followed an entirely peaceful day.
And we're going to stay on this. But meanwhile, earlier today, this was the scene in downtown L.A., the largest of all the No Kings Day demonstrations across the Southland, where thousands of people gathered. This all started in the afternoon around 2 p.m., which included a march down a 2-mile stretch with a peaceful rally outside City Hall. Most of the people we spoke to had a similar message: no to a Trump takeover and no to authoritarianism and fascism.
And as we mentioned, things grew a little more tense after dark when most of the protesters left. It was a peaceful day. Police formed skirmish lines to get people away from the federal building and out of downtown. 2 separate dispersal orders were issued.
Following those dispersal orders, police warned those who didn't leave may be arrested. And then officers began moving in. Again, this is near the federal building in downtown L.A. This was the site of some of the most violent clashes with police that we saw at demonstrations back in June.
That did not happen here tonight. As officers moved in on foot and on horseback, the demonstrators slowly made their way down the road. This was Alameda and North Main Street in the parking lot and complex of that Chevron gas station. We do want to point out most of the protesters we saw at this No Kings demonstration had already left the area by this point in the night.
And just after 8 tonight, we saw police taking at least one person into custody from Air 7. We reached out to LA police and we're waiting official word on how many people were arrested after that dispersal order was issued. Other No Kings protests took place across the country today. According to No Kings organizers, more than 7 million people nationwide took part. One of those happening in San Francisco. Cornell Barnard from our sister station, KGO, shows us what happened there.
Demonstrators taking to the streets of San Francisco Saturday, marching up Market Street here to Civic Center as part of the second No Kings rally this year, protesting the Trump administration and its immigration crackdown.
The Trump attack! We're gonna beat back! The Trump attack!
A crowd of about 50,000 people were expected. Organizers say the protest are meant as a celebration of free speech and a pushback against recent moves by Trump, including sending National Guard troops to a handful of Democratic-controlled cities. San Francisco has been mentioned. Saturday's protest was peaceful. In San Francisco, Cornell Bernard, ABC 7 News.
Protests also happening today in San Diego. California's Prop 50 on the redistricting fight had protesters demanding yes votes this November. One of many issues people were rallying for today. This No Kings protest is part of a nationwide grassroots initiative called the 50 States, 50 Protests, One Movement.
Here's a live look right now from Air 7 over downtown Los Angeles, where we are learning that another person is being arrested and taken into custody. It's a little bit hard to see there. You know, the lighting is not great, but that is what we have just learned. That's the latest from our producers here into the Eyewitness Newsroom. We're learning, again, another person taken into custody, and we have reached out to police to find out how many people have been taken into custody or arrested after this dispersal order. Again, most people were told to leave. Anyone that was left over was told to leave by 8 p.m. Several people did not listen. We still see some crowds, a smaller crowd, but still some people out there, and we are now seeing at the side of this building here, one person being arrested. And we've got another big story that we've been following all day. Yeah. Traffic between Orange County and San Diego came to a standstill today during the U.S. Marines' 250th birthday celebration at Camp Pendleton, including a demonstration firing live ammunition across the 5 freeway. Yeah, we have not seen that before. After a lot of back and forth this week, state transportation leaders ultimately decided today to close down the freeway due to public safety concerns. Traffic tonight is back to normal, but today many were caught off guard by the sudden closures. CHP shut down a 17-mile stretch of the freeway between San Clemente and Oceanside. Some drivers left frustrated, sitting for hours. Others made the most of their time.
A little bit, but this is pretty cool too, though, so yeah.
A little late for the birthday event, but you know, this is definitely a great show.
Sure. Do you sit in traffic all day today, or what?
Hopefully only for a couple hours. Yeah. If it's all day, that would definitely put a damper on plans, but this is also a great show.
Republicans blasted the decision, blaming the closure on Governor Gavin Newsom. He criticized the display, saying in part, quote, "The president is putting his ego over responsibility with this disregard for public safety." And the traffic wasn't just limited to the 5 freeway. As thousands tried to get around the closure, traffic also backed up on the 15. This video is from Eyewitness News anchor Mark Brown, who himself got stuck in the jam in the Escondido area. We spoke with him during our live streaming coverage this afternoon.
Right now it is, it's packed in both directions, actually, north and southbound. And, you know, it's taking us out of the way. And in addition to going, you know, quite a bit far out of our way, it's packed with all the people who are not on the 5 right now. So it's just jam-packed. That was the dilemma faced by thousands. Do you sit on the 5 and wait for the closure to end, or do you try and get around it? What should have been a 2.5-hour commute for Mark to get back to L.A. was about 5 hours to get home. And it wasn't just the roads impacted by the demonstration. Amtrak rails were closed, leaving passengers stuck on the Pacific Surfliner. Our own Eyewitness News producer, Nicolette Harris, was stuck on this train for 4 hours near Oceanside.
We were, you know, traveling down the Surfliner route and made it a bit past north of Oceanside, I believe, when the train just sort of abruptly came to a stop, and the conductor got overhead and told us that there was going to be a delay, likely for several hours. After 4 hours of sitting on the tracks, Nicolette's train continued forward to Los Angeles. But get this, the train left San Diego this morning at 10, and it was only supposed to be a 2-hour and 45-minute ride. It took her 7 hours to get back to Los Angeles. Glad she made it, though. To other news now, an L.A. County Sheriff's operation causing some chaos in West Hollywood as many thought it was ICE. An Eyewitness News viewer sent us video from a nearby bar last night warning of a possible ICE operation at the famous Abbey. Again, immigration agents were not present there. Deputies tell us they were there as part of a scheduled undercover operation targeting pickpocketing and other criminal activity. They report some arrests were made. In a statement, the sheriff's office says some community members have expressed concern that the operation was conducted by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This is not the case. ICE was not involved. More news to come on the special edition of Eyewitness News at 10:30. A true Southern California landmark, how the Santa Monica Arcade is